because Anne's running it from the other side. Isn't this amazing? I find it just fantastic and wonderful.
So how are they now with the communicating with you? How
it works the same way. I'm getting ready to write another book, and it's starting to fire up again. I was at yoga the other day, and there's a big white wall in the yoga studio, and I'm doing my yoga. I mean, if anyone wants some comic relief, they can come watch me try to do yoga. That I'm sure it would be very amusing. I take a yoga course in Brentwood called Yoga for Stiff People. But I'm 74, and I haven't been doing yoga for but about a year, so I'm not real good at it. Anyway, this white wall is there, and I can see against the white wall when the sun is on it, and the thing is visible like that. And it's definitely on now, and I am getting more and more ideas on the book, and I'm getting ideas, as I talked about earlier, about this quantum communications device that I know the physicist who will develop it. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but he's been identified to me by them, by the implant. So, and this is not, notice I haven't said a word about aliens in all of this. This is not, it isn't us versus aliens. This is not about that exactly. This is about lifting the veil between the worlds. And when we do that, the whole thing, the dead, the afterlife, reincarnation, the visitors, all of this is going to make a new kind of sense, and human consciousness is going to just leap ahead into a new world, and that's why the book's called A New World. And if only we get the time, if only we have enough time, and we don't need much. We need 10, 20 more years, and so many of us are going to be living beyond the veil, so that the veil is no longer there in our lives, that this is going to be a different world.
Very interesting, because what you were saying is they wanted you to publish the book by a certain time. So
yeah, absolutely.
It sounds like they're really stressing a time factor on here.
Oh, absolutely. They sure are. They definitely are.
Now, can I ask you a blunt question? Do they know something about our future? If we don't go to the next level, we could be in a serious, well, I won't say the word over the air. If I was only on the internet, I would, believe me.
We'd be in trouble.
That's the word I was going to say, too. Okay, yeah. That fits.
Okay, well, I said it. We'd be in trouble. They're interested. Everyone involved wants the physical side of mankind to persist. And for a lot of reasons that I go into in the book. The biggest reason probably is that we are embedded in the stream of time. We are entropic creatures. That means we experience change. I'm not sure that the ones that aren't in this level do. And I know it is really delicious for them to share my experience of life with me. They really enjoy it. And there's a lot of teaching and guidance from our own dead and from them, and there's such a sweetness in the. It's not like possession at all. It's a real sharing of self and body, and it's very beautiful. And I think that may be part of what they want from us. And I think they just find us, maybe the dark side of it has other reasons for wanting us to live, because maybe they enjoy kicking us around or something, I don't know. But I'm not really interested in the dark side. I don't have it in my life. And, I was hard to wake up, and they did get frustrated and beat me up good back in 1980, late 85. But that's okay. I'm...
Okay. Going back in time, Whitley, didn't you have a friend that that died. It was like a CIA or somebody that came to your cabin, and you went after him out in the woods, and then you realized that he's been dead for a few years or something like that?
No, that's a little garbled. What happened was,
my memory.
You're on the right track. What happened was this: when I first had the first encounter with the visitors, and you'll find this is very common. I was sitting in the woods with them, ready to go, as I found out in a few seconds, go shooting up in the air without an elevator. And I was sitting with a group of them, and there was a guy there who I knew from college and high school. We'd known each other since we were in the 8th grade. And he was telling me he had been a CIA agent. I hadn't talked to him in years because, people go in the CIA, they don't tend to keep up with the old gang much. They're doing secret stuff and sneaking around, and they're not interested in the duffers they left behind in college. So anyway, he's telling me about a defect in the exhaust manifolds of the stealth aircraft, which were then super, super secret. And I'm listening to this and trying to figure out what in the world is going on here. Why am I out in the woods in the snow? What is he doing here? Who are these weird people in these funny uniforms? And then I shot up in the air, and the abduction experience started. Afterwards, one of the first things I did was try to get a hold of him, because I thought it was some kind of crazy thing done to me by the CIA. And God knows why. I mean, who knows? So I tried to call him, and his number was disconnected. And I had talked to him after he had left the agency, and I had talked to him briefly after that. So I had a number that was only about 4 or 5 years old. And I figured, it was disconnected. Okay, so he's changed his number. So I had his brother's number, so I called his brother and said, I wanted to talk to him, and do you have his current phone number? And he says to me, I'm sorry to tell you this, but he's been dead since last March. Wow. I had seen him in December, and he'd been dead since the previous March. Big as life. And this went on and on at the cabin. Whenever the visitors would show up to a big group of people, almost inevitably there would be dead friends and relatives, either to show up shortly before they came, or when they were there, or afterwards. This has got, as Annie said, and she read hundreds and thousands of letters, and so often this phenomenon was mentioned. She said one day to me, Whitley, this has something to do with what we call death. And those words opened a door for me. As I said earlier, my wife was a genius, and she opened a door with those words that is, in the end, going to change this world. Because behind that door is the reality that there is a vast, ancient level of consciousness that is not physical, that we are also part of, and that we can join in a whole new way. And that, again, is a new world. Oh,
wow. I know I had you scheduled to 8:25. I don't know if you want to go a little bit past that. If not, I understand.
I can't, unfortunately.
That is fine. How can they find your books?
It's very simple to find my book. You can go on Amazon and find it as a hardcover, a paperback, or a Kindle. It's available on Barnes & Noble. It's available on all of the ebook websites. It is available as an Audible audiobook read by me. And my other book, the recent book, The Afterlife Revolution, is also there and also available as an audiobook. And you should definitely do it, because it's this book in particular, these two books, are important. They've changed my life, and I hope that they would do the same for others.
Wow. Now, also, how can they find your podcast, your show?
Go to my website, unknowncountry.com, and you can, when you go on Unknown Country, it's a big website. It's got lots and lots of people on it. You will find a link that says podcasts on the masthead. Click on it, and all the podcasts with Dreamland at the top will be there. And there are other podcasters also on the site, on my site. And it's just a beautiful site, and it goes all the way back to 2004. It's got a huge archive, and you'll enjoy yourself on it. And there's lots of free stuff to do if you don't want to subscribe, because you can subscribe if you want to.
Great. Hey, Whitley, I want to thank you for coming back on.
Well, it was a great pleasure, and I'm glad to have been here. I wish I could stay a little longer, but I didn't set my evening up that way.
Oh, no problem, sir. Hey, you take care, and again, maybe in a few months or down the road we can get you back on.
Thanks very much.
Okay, my friend, you take care.
Bye-bye.
And bye. Well, that was Whitley, and I tell you, it makes you open your eyes up so much about, things, like abductions, implants. Are these implants coming from aliens, or are they coming from something else? Interesting. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I've often wondered that myself. Where are they coming from? And I wonder if there's any other people like him that, that they have carrying out the same mission, try to find people to be able to communicate on a quantum level. I'd like to find out if he ever finds that physicist that can do that.
Well, he's come a long way from not understanding what the implant was there for and what it did, many years. But now it seems to be, communicating very much with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Still communicating through synchronicity. So that's still ongoing, and there's further information to come, I'm sure.
Well, he's in the process of another book that they're helping him or having him write. Makes me wonder what the future might be. And why is there a big rush on it that they need to get them out at a certain time? It makes me wonder, is there something coming down the road that, we need to find out before it happens? I don't know. But you know what? I love having him on because, he's so easy to talk. It just, it makes you feel at ease. And he has so much to say. Anyway, we're going to go on break for the next 2.5 minutes, and we'll be back with James, and then we'll wrap up the show, the last half an hour. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio, and we'll be back.
You see the place at last.